Hello everybody, welcome back to the Kuchi-e Gallery YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing package opening video number 12. We are going to be opening these items here. There are 4 packages. I've pre-opened all of them, so they're all kind of easier to get into. I don't want to take time cutting packages open anymore. That's a waste of your time and my video space. So let's just skip that part. We're going to get right into it. We're going to go into this package, number one right here. One of these packages has a really interesting story, actually. It's like a kind of a dream come true scenario for most woodblock print collectors, and I definitely have had this experience several times, but it's just like the best thing when you're a collector and something amazing happens. So let's start with this package right here on the top. And there's a method to my madness here, but this one came from Japan. You can tell from the Japanese package thing here. Tag, the property tag, or whatever you want to call that. So let's get right into it. You can see on the side we have 4 books to look through, fairly well wrapped. I actually had a problem recently with a package, speaking of packages and wrapping and so on. I actually had a little bit of a problem, which is so unusual for me. I talk a lot about how good the Japanese are about making their packages, but what I've noticed recently is when I buy a large package, let's say it has like 4 or 5 items, or maybe even up to 7 or 8 items in it, they tend to do a large package which has a bunch of empty space inside of it, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why they do this way. All right, so here we go. You can see we have 4 books here, and one of them is an odd man out, clearly. This one with the big X on it, I'm not sure. Oh, here it is here. I'm not sure what that is. That's weird. Oh, it has the cover still. Oh, that's interesting. So anyway, it does have the original cover here. But anyway, so we have these 4 books. And let me see if I can differentiate between which one is number 1. Okay, wait. Sorry, here we go. I don't know. Is this the same book? I don't know. I'm confused. In any event, let's just move forward. I don't know how to work this out. These are not all the same, so it must just be the title, and I don't know where the numbers are on these. So let's just start with this one on the top here and make sure this is one with an actual print inside of it. No, that is not one with a print inside of it. Okay, here we go. Okay, this one is going to be the last one. We'll go with these. So from what I remember, from what I recall, 3 of these have prints inside of them, and one of them does not. So unfortunately, I was not able to get all the prints from the series. The person who sold these set of books was missing one of the prints, which, sucks, and it would have been nice to get all of them, but that's just life sometimes. In any event, this is print number 1. Now, when I saw the picture, I was a little bit bummed because it was folded in a funny way here, but I can see that the print is actually fully in there, so I just have to pull the spine basically to get it to come out flat. You can see at the top up here that it's flat, so it's just a matter of like pushing the spine out a little bit so that it's not folded right on the center crease. Matter of fact, let me just do that a little bit because it's a beautiful print, and it's kind of wasted a little bit by having the fold right there. Okay. So this is a print by an artist named Yawada Hakuhan. Very unusual artist, not the easiest artist to find pieces by. One of my fellow collectors, you know who you are, was desirous of getting this set here. The prints have a little bit of like soiling from being touched and so on. You can see that there's like some kind of soiling here and here. There's a little bit of a line right here. I'll be able to take those out. So it'll take me some time to work on it, but I use a method of, I use a kneaded eraser, it's called, and you very, very slowly can actually remove some of the top surface stuff. You can even do this. This is actually a ballpoint pen, sadly, which might be a little bit more challenging to get rid of, but I'm going to do my best because I really dislike it. And that is one of the things that stopped me from like wanting these, but like finding a set of prints by an artist is very, very challenging. And so I just didn't want to miss out. I mean, it's rare to find 3 prints by a single artist with a single series of books. And even though I only have 3 of them, it's still nice to have them. So this one is going to need some cleanup here. It's going to have to get rid of this little mustachio that some child drew. There's also a few pen marks here. I believe I'll be able to get rid of them. It's going to be easier to tell once I look through to the back, but I have to separate these pages here on the side in order to take a look, and I don't really want to do that right now. So in any event, it is otherwise a beautiful design. So it's a very lovely design showing a beauty. She has the affectations of the time by wearing this ring here, which we almost couldn't see because of the bend in the paper. But she has lovely hair. The hair has some burnishing and beautiful bokashi, which is what gives it this kind of faded look on the outside. Sorry, I was going to use this bone pointer today to kind of show the areas I wanted to highlight. But overall, it's just a nice design showing a beauty sort of in a little bit of distress. Here, down here, we have the red of the inner kimono, which is actually showing a oxidation here, which, on some things it looks lovely. This one looks pretty good, actually. On some prints, that oxidation can actually ruin it. On this one, thankfully, does not have that problem. So here we have the signature in the corner, Yawada Hakuhan. I'm not sure whether this is Yawada or Hakuhan. I actually can't, I don't know how to read the signature of this particular artist. But he does great job with his beauties. And yeah, unfortunately, this one had a child with a ballpoint pen. And we can see at the beginning right here that this child probably got the pen because somebody left it sitting around when they were, I don't know, writing something about this book. Let's look through and see if there's anything else in here before we move on to the next book. So let's see. No. This author is also kind of a lesser common author. I think either his name or her name is Emmy something, but I don't know how to pronounce it, and I'm not sure about the name, but I think she or he is fairly well collected. So, I'm going to be looking for more books to see if there's other books with Kuchi-e out there by this author, because I really like Yawada Hakuhan's work, and it's very hard to find, and it's incredibly hard to find in good condition. I happen to have like maybe 10 pieces or something, 8 or 10 pieces. This one is great. So here we have another example. We have a book club stamp here, which is not ideal, but I can just cover it over with paper later. But otherwise, this print actually is in really good condition. The color is fantastic. So this kind of deep, rich printed color of this kimono and the central beauty is just phenomenal. This is the kind of coloration I want on my prints. See how solid that coloring is? It's just great. We do have a lot of high-end printing technique used here. The edge of this print is a little bit scrubby, but actually it can actually be turned over. This happens a lot to the edge of woodblock prints, especially when they face the outside of the binding, so they're facing towards the edge of the paper. They oftentimes get little, like little ripples along the edge. People handle them and they kind of turn inward or whatever, and nobody bothers to undo them. But with a little bit of administration of your fingers, you can actually go through and just kind of change, kind of bend them back so they're flat. So you can see I've just taken a second to do that. And if I spray a teeny bit of water on here, which I probably won't because this has this red here, which I wouldn't risk it, but I could make this straight. I also could just put a little bit of a, like a support piece of paper along the side there, and then I could just trim it flat if I wanted to. I don't know if I'll do that. But anyway, the other edition that I've seen of this print, I did actually find the book. Let me show you the book afterwards, but let's come back to this print maybe in a minute because I want to show you something interesting. But this print in particular is just beautiful. It has a waterfall in the background here. You have a beauty looking pensive, let's say. The kimono is fantastic. Some of the high-end printing techniques that I was speaking of can be seen here. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. See that pattern right there? That is blind printing, and it's used to great effect here. So it's very rare that they get it right. I mean, they do use it a lot, and I still think it's lovely because it's a sign of how excellent the printing was done. But you can see it right here. This stippling that you can see here is actually blind printed onto this paper. They've done it here, and they've done it here to represent the kimono. So they're saying this kimono has like a canvas texture or some sort of texture, and that is exactly what it looks like. They've done a fantastic job of using this blind printing here. It's often used to lesser effect. I think sometimes people use it because they want to be like, yes, this print is, amazingly highly printed. It has the best techniques. It has bokashi. It has blind printing. It has whatever. And it doesn't look great because it doesn't do much for the print. But this actually is perfect. This is exactly what I want to see when somebody uses blind printing, that it brings out that effect. It's changed this, which is like solid, beautifully block printed color, and it's made it this stippling effect, which just gives it a slightly duller appearance, and it just changes the whole feel of this kimono. So here you have beauty in a kimono. We got this lovely deep purple, plum purple here. Beautiful rich reds. Again, this is how I like to see reds used sparingly. In this instance, like I don't like to see so much red because it makes it very difficult to work on a print first. And sometimes it just overtakes. Like this one doesn't overtake. It's just a lovely, lovely beauty. She's wearing a beautiful kimono. Again, the affectation of the time with the ring. It was very popular for these women at this time to wear rings. She has a beautiful kimono. The obi is fantastic. We have the inner kimono here, this blue polka dot technique. Again, a tiny bit of the red inner kimono peeking out. Just lovely. I can't tell if she's wearing an earring. It looks like an earring, but it might just be her ear. Again, we have a hair comb here, which was an affectation of the time. Again, a Japanese style hair comb here and here. Lovely, beautiful hair. This artist did excellent eyes. So the thing I think about this artist that kind of stands out from others was two things. They had a very identifiable nose, they did, and that their eyes are just fantastic. Like they just did such a nice job with their eyes. And so anyway, that's why I really love this. So the signature again here, I don't know if it's Hakuhan or Iwata, but it's one or the other. Yeah, just beautiful. I love this design. Super amazing print. I'll be able to cover this up with a piece of washi and nobody will know it's there, or at least it'll be lessened greatly. But very excited to have this in my collection. And you can see it folds to here, but for some reason people folded it here. I just don't, I don't know why people do what they do. I'm actually going to put a piece of paper here later because I don't want this red to spread across this here onto here, which is maybe what's causing some of this. So anyway, let's move on to the next book. So I'll make sure there's nothing else in here. Nope. Okay, so now we move on to book number 3. There we go. Sorry about the little dust that comes off. This is just something that happens sometimes with books from Japan. This design is again fantastic. Oh, look at that. So nice. In such good condition. It's so difficult to get these to get these prints in this kind of condition. So I love this. I'm so happy I got these. They were expensive, but well worth it for sure. To me anyway, well worth it, and I think worth it to others because it's a fantastic artist who doesn't do a lot of stuff. There doesn't have a lot of stuff left anyway. So again, we have a beauty. Definitely this one's in distress. She has she's tied up, which in Japanese is called kinbaku. So she's kinbaku, she's rope tied, which is called kinbaku. Now I don't know if kinbaku is probably something specific like rope tying technique or something like that. This might just be someone tied up as a captive, and maybe that's not kinbaku, maybe it's something else. But anyway, kinbaku is a term used to apply rope tying. And again, you can see here that I'm just taking my fingers and unfolding this edge here, which doesn't take much. I don't know why people don't do it more often, because it's really, the paper, as I've said repeatedly, the paper that the Japanese use, this handmade mulberry paper, is just phenomenal. It's really strong. It rarely rips. I mean, unless you're trying to tear it. It just has a really nice strength and quality. But see, I can straighten that line of that thing out, and it looks so much nicer. Just being able to see the print as intended with the full margins showing. Now again, we see that there's this curved edge right here. That was very common for these prints that were longer from the top. And the reason they did it is because they always ended up getting junked up here on this side. But amazingly, we can see that this piece, again, as I unfurl this, we'll be able to see that the margin is still here at the top. This is a fully margined piece, which I just am shocked about. Like, I'm so happy I won this. It's got a little tear right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little tear here that I need to patch. But yeah, just fantastic. So here we have a beauty that is tied up. She has a handkerchief or some sort of a gag in her mouth to stop her from speaking. Probably don't want her screaming for help, I'm guessing. But we have a beautiful kimono. The obi, again, is very nice. This one does not have the blind printing. So this one is short of that blind printing, which is fine because, you know, the best place they would have used it would have either been on the cloth or here on the obi, but otherwise it doesn't need it. But it's a lovely design otherwise. And it has a woman, she's tied up. We have the signature at the top up here, the seal of Yawata Hakuhan here, full margins of this piece, which is excellent. So here we have the beauty face up close. We have a, like I said, a gag. Interestingly, when I first saw this print, I actually thought this was another child drawing a mouth in or whatever, but it turns out that is part of the original print, thankfully. Otherwise, this print is in excellent condition. It does have a little bit of like grimy, you know, touching stuff, which is just so common for these prints. I mean, this print is from, I'm not exactly sure when, but it's probably, you know, 1910, 1913, something along those lines. And these prints, you know, they're 110 to 120 years old, and there aren't that many of these left out there, let me tell you. I'd be shocked if there was even 100 copies of this print flying around. I mean, I'd be shocked if there was even 50, because I've never seen this print for sale. That's not true. This print I've seen once. The other prints I've never seen, actually. So those other two I've never seen for sale. This one I've only seen for sale one time. So it's pretty uncommon. I'd be really shocked if there was even 100 prints of this print in good quality out there. So finding this in this quality is amazing. Excellent hair flowing down the back here. The ropes are here, binding obviously. The gag. The face is beautiful. Again, we have the eyes. I think that this artist did really lovely, expressive eyes. Also, he wasn't shy about his eyebrows. You know, a lot of the eyebrows in some of these prints are just like a single line, or they're just like, you know, they're just not very defined. This man is, this artist has taken the time to really put the eyebrows in. You know, they're visible and they're eyebrows. You know, I love that. Like it's a real affectation of a real person, less cartoony, let's say. The dispersing of this blue and gold, it is an interesting choice of kimono color with these like blue and, let's say, taupe splotches, but I like it a lot, actually. It works really well with this design. You have the rope, then we have the obi here, and there's like a pink rope tie, I guess, for the obi that's really pretty. It's just a really nice piece. We'll take a look at it from the back. You can see the bleed through is clearly evident, which I was totally expecting, of course. This one doesn't have any backing paper like the other one did, but we can see from the back it's really lovely. But look at that interesting color coming through on that kimono. It's like a pinkish purple. Fantastic. Such an unusual color combination. And again, this one on the back here, I just leave. I don't really care about that one. That one isn't going to hurt anything. The one there isn't, and there, thankfully for me, there isn't one on the front. So somebody, even though they wanted to make sure this was not stolen from the books they were renting out, they only stamped it on the back and not the front, which is so nice for me. Excuse me, I took a drink. But not the best idea for keeping it in the book. You know, people like to take these and hang them on their walls, which is why I don't think there's even 100 pieces left. So just a fantastic design. Yawata Hakuhan is the artist. We'll take a look in the last book. I'm pretty sure there's no print in it, but let's take a look anyway. Let's leave this here for now. I need to come back to this later because I want to shore up some of this paper that's curling. It's difficult along the edge here. It's difficult because what happens, and this is why they cut them at that weird angle, is that when you fold this book over, the paper doesn't fit underneath it cleanly unless it's perfectly flat and it lays like right up to the edge here. Over time, as you open and close it a few times, it gets bent, and then it just doesn't set right, you know. And nobody's going to have a bone, a bone pointer, a bone paper, you know, pointer to like push this along the inside edge to make sure it doesn't get wrinkled every time you close the book. And that's what I'm trying to avoid right now. Is I don't want this to get worse than it already is. So I'm going to try and push it flat, see if I can get it to maintain its shape at all underneath this edge when I close the book, because I don't want to make it worse. Again, same thing with this, but I'm just going to lightly fold it, put this on top over here. This is the final book, and I don't believe there's any print in here. I mean, if there was, that would be amazing. But no, in this case, someone took the print out. We can see the remnants of the print here. Somebody tore it out at some point in the past. which is sad, but you know, I'm sure it happened all the time with these rental shops. So there we have it. That's set number 1 of what I'm opening today. Let me zoom this back out a little bit. Oh, I wanted to show you this. So I did mark the page of this series in this book here by Nanako Yamada. This is the volume 2. I'm always saying, yeah, there are 2 volumes of this book. This is volume. It's not volume 2, although I don't know why they didn't call it volume 2, because the reality is book 1 and book 2 have very different photos enclosed, and also the layout is completely different. I don't know why they don't just call it volume 2, because it's really different. But anyway, there are a lot of repeating pictures, but there are a whole lot of pictures that are not repeating. Now here we have the artist Yawata Hakuhan here. And one thing I wanted to show you that was interesting is this is the design we were looking at earlier that had the seal over here and had the signature on this side. In this print that they got, the signature is completely missing. Someone has taken off the entire left side of the print. So when I say, like, I don't think there's even 100 copies of this out there in good condition, this is why. This is the only example I had of this print to look up. And you can see that it's been completely hacked off like 3 or 4 inches off the left side of it. So yeah, that's, and it's still a nice design. If I'd have seen this just like this, I'd be like, wow, that's great. I can't wait to get one of those. But yeah, there it is. As you can see, there are 4 designs here. And this one we've seen, this one we've seen, and this one we've seen. So clearly this one is the one we're missing. Hopefully I can bring the other one that we saw back to looking like this, or at least a little closer, by doing a little bit of, you know, repairs, I guess you'd say. It's going to be difficult to get that ballpoint pen mark off there, but I will give it a try. In a worst case scenario, I may try just trying to match the color and maybe painting over it. I don't know. It's not an easy thing to fix. Yawata Hakuhan, though, had some amazing prints. I mean, this is why I love this artist, because the prints that they had are just fantastic. Look at this print with this child have a gun pointed at this lady. I mean, it's just really great. I do own a few of these, but very few of them are in this book, actually. So yeah, these I own. On this whole page right here, I own this one here. But you can see this one has a tiger. I mean, it's just, he is just an amazing artist. And he did some really great stuff. So yeah, I own this one here. That's it of these. I own those and the 3 I just got. So really rare, interesting artist, and hard to find. But anyway, so yeah, I'm glad I was able to share that with you guys today. And I do have 3 more packages to open, so let's get to that. And I'm going to make, this video is going to be 6 pieces total. I don't actually know what's in these boxes. I mean, obviously when I get to them, I'll know, but I ordered about 35 things in the last 2 months. And I don't know, these were actually from an eBay seller. And interestingly, he normally does, or he or she, they don't normally have things I like, actually, which is kind of surprising, because they're one of these, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but on eBay, there's these, there are these Japanese sellers that just sell so much stuff. It's incredible. I mean, you'll look them up and you'll be like, how can that guy have 35,000 items? Like, that just seems insane. How do you have 35,000 items? This print is great. It is much smaller than I thought it was. Let me go ahead and take it out of the package. But yeah, I'm always shocked. I'm like, how can these guys have 35,000 items up? Like, do they spend every day, 8 hours a day putting up 40 items an hour? Like, how could you ever get to 30,000 items listed? It boggles my mind. Like, I could never even come close to that number. I mean, ever. And plus it makes me wonder, if you have that many pieces up, are they just not selling? And it's interesting because when I go to look at the, like, sale stuff, sometimes there'll only be like 2 or 3 items sold. It just makes me, yeah, it's interesting. All right, here we go. We have a lovely design here by Kanobu, Hasagawa Kanobu. Sorry, let me zoom that in for you guys. Here. So you can see it's a lovely print of a soldier, warrior, you would say. He's doing some kind of a little bit of a prayer, maybe a pre-war ritual, pre-fight ritual. Sadly, this didn't come with the book, obviously, so I have no idea what book it came from. It went like this into the book. We have the 2 binding holes right here. So it had some sort of a rope or a staple through here. And it was folded this way, like so. So it came like that. But the thing I love about this print, aside from the fact that I've never really seen it before, is that it's in actually really reasonable condition. I don't really see a lot of errors, a lot of flaws. I mean, it looks like it's in great condition. We have a soldier, or a warrior rather, again, who's like in a prayer pose, and we can just see the details are fantastic. The printing is excellent. There's a little bit of where's my bone pointer thing? There's a little bit of the black areas here are burnished, meaning they're a little bit shiny. It's kind of hard to see though because it wasn't the highest quality burnishing. These lines right here on the kimono are also burnished, and that looks like that's it. It shows up here the best in these top few. It doesn't really show up on the bottom ones too well. This again was burnished, and so was this, but it just barely shows up. But anyway, it's a really nice print. And the thing that I think is very interesting about this print, which is one of those things that most people might not even pay that much attention to, is that they put a shadow right here at the bottom. So this person is standing here, and they put a shadow. There's a shadow coming from this spearhead, and there's a shadow coming from this guy. This is a very uncommon thing. The Japanese, they were not as interested, I guess, in shadow play, like, putting shadows. There was, Toyokuni III was very famous for doing light, and that sort of dealt with shadows, but they didn't deal as much with the shadows as they did with the light. It was more like the light revealed color, the light revealed the darkness, but there was less about whether or not it created shadows or what kind of depth it created. This is one of the rare examples where I've seen where an artist, in this case, Kanobu, who has put the shadow lines in. I just think it's beautiful and fantastic, and I really wish there was more of this, because this is subtle. It's not even like it's shadowed all the way down the side. It's just right here. And then it's a little bit right here. So you can see they did a little bit of bokashi here on this. The bokashi is the fading. So they've taken a darker black here, and they've kind of faded it out so that it's lighter on this edge, and that is what it would look like if it had shadow going on. So it is nicely done there. A good effect to make this look nice. We actually have a moon here, so I'm not really sure where the shadow is coming from. We have a sliver of a moon, which would cast basically zero shadow. But anyway, let's just assume there's a fire over here somewhere. But anyway, just a really lovely design. The other thing that I think is really interesting about this print is this seal. This is such an interesting seal. I've never seen this seal by Kanobu. It's just a really, like, a bizarre seal. I've never seen it. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. It probably says Kanobu or something. I don't know, but it's a very interesting seal, and it looks like the number 2. It has a Roman numerally kind of look to it. It's just very interesting. I haven't seen it before. Let's take a look at the back side. Nice bleed through. Nothing really to talk about on the back. It's just the bleed through is there. It's fairly evident. But interestingly, see how interesting it is? Look, the blue really comes through nicely. The black comes through really well. Shoes are barely noticeable, and the face is barely noticeable. Interesting, huh? So, in any event, another print, beautiful one. It was not very expensive, which was also nice. Oh, I wanted to say something, too, that was really cool about this dealer, which, unfortunately, this is a dealer I've been following for a long time, and they rarely sell anything I'm interested in. They do sell a lot of ukiyo-e, so I think if people are interested in ukiyo-e, you can find some really fantastic deals at this particular seller from Japan on eBay. I can't remember their name right now, but anyway, they do have a lot of great stuff. If you look at ukiyo-e on eBay, you'll definitely run across them, because like I said, they have like 30,000 items. They're not all wood blocks. There's lots of other Japanese antiques and so on. But the thing I think is really cool about this seller, which I have to say, no other seller I've dealt with has done this, is that they charge $20 shipping, which is fair from Japan, right? I mean, they are based in Japan. So I think that $20 shipping is fine. But here's the interesting part. This is the cool thing, was that they sent it DHL, and it gets here in like 2 days. It is the fastest Japanese shipping I've ever experienced, and I bought a lot of things from Japan. This is definitely by far the fastest. These next 3 items were open, all came from the same seller, and I don't know about one of them because it came to another person that I got from, but I'm assuming they're the same. They're all in the same box and everything. One of these was a gift for me, so that's why I'm saying that. But anyway, I'm assuming it was just as fast, because I had these 2 here, and they both came. They're so quick. Gosh, I can't get this thing to stop to lay down. See, this is one of the issues we have, and we have to be careful of this. You have to make sure that this edge here lays flat when you put it in here, because you don't want your edges to be curled. So you want to make sure that you're kind of flattening it out before you put it in. And again, these little edges right here with these little nicks, these are exactly where this plastic edge can catch. So you want to make sure you're holding this up. I put the white paper behind, well, for several reasons. But see, even now, you can see I've already pushed it in. After pushing it down, and the edge is already curled here. So I'm just going to go through and try to push it down again. I don't want this in my prints. I want it to be straight as much as possible, because the more times I leave that, the more it gets set in. And when it's set in, it's just more difficult to flatten later. So yeah, really cool print by Hasegawa Kanobu. And let's move on to the next one. But yeah, they only take like 2 days. And I'm not even exaggerating. When I say that it took 2 days, it literally took 2 days to get here. And I was shocked. I thought there's no way it's going to get here that fast. But it certainly did. 2 days. Unbelievable that it took only 2 days. Okay, let's move on to this one. Again, I cannot... Oh, no, I do know which one this is, right? This is the one I was saying that was a gift. Okay. So yeah, this is, again, I was kind of shocked this showed up, because I am not familiar with this print at all. And wow, it's like way larger too. You know, I don't even know what I have here. It looks like a Kuchi-e, and that's why I was interested in it. But it's a very large Kuchi-e. Sorry, give me just a second. I need to open this up, and I don't want to spoil the surprise by cut this open so I can slide it out of here. Yeah, it's basically a full-size. I mean, a really full-size Kuchi-e. Just, it's lovely. But anyway, this is a fantastic piece. So I saw this, and and you know, I left it up there for a minute, and actually, like I said, I ended up getting it as a gift. So, but I left it up there for a minute, and I wasn't sure about it. I was like, I don't know who the artist is. I've never seen anything about it, but this is the print. Like, it's just fantastic. It's so beautiful. And I have zero clue who the artist is. It's signed down here, but I don't recognize it. Let me just open this real quick and take this lovely thing out of here. But the really cool thing, again, about this seller is how fast they come. You know, I've been buying from one particular dealer for a very long time. I mean, almost the whole time I've been collecting. This dealer's been selling on eBay, and they also have a website, which used to be in France, and then they moved it to Japan at some point. So, you know, this is a person I've long time been buying from. And they take 2 weeks sometimes before they even start shipping it to me. Whereas this guy, by the time this other guy, if I had 2 auctions ending the same day, and I bought one from this seller and one from that other guy, this guy would have arrived, been in my house, hanged up on my wall, framed. You know, I would have gotten some kind of a reference book. You know, I would have been able to research it. Like, it's crazy how fast these came. So all I can say is there certainly are fast available, you know, there are fast available shipping out there. And by the way they ship is DHL. I don't know if it's 2-day express or what, but the guy charges $20 and it's here in 2 days. And I've never had any issues so far with them. And I've only bought a few things from them, because like I said, they don't actually usually sell Kuchi-e. Okay, so here we have a fantastic Kuchi-e. This thing is so beautiful. Like, I cannot express to you how much I love this print. I mean, so I've always been interested in what I would call like enigmatic artists. These are artists that are just not common. This is going to be one. I have no idea who this artist is. I've never seen this print, and I can't tell what the signature is. So it's just a really beautiful print and a really beautiful design. And anyway, it's lovely. Let's discuss it. So, I mean, all the elements here are just fantastic. So you have a beauty who is like kind of reclining here, and she has a fan. So it's an Uchiwa-e print because it features a fan. But look, the fan features like Hokusai or Hiroshige's print on it, which you can actually see the details. You can see the guys kind of walking through the rain, or, you know, whatever they're doing, like along the Tokaido Highway or whatever. It's just like a really beautifully well done print. Like, it's just got all the beautiful elements. You have this tree here, which is probably like a Japanese pine. It looks like some kind of a pine tree, maybe. You have this lamp. Now, where's my bone pointer? You have this lamp, which is lovely, but look, they've done the casting of the shadows. So you have the light coming off the lamp here. The light is casting down this way. They've done an interesting thing where they've made the top lighter and the bottom reddish. So I'm assuming the lamp has some sort of a reddish glow to it, and that's what they're accentuating here. It would have been nicer if it was darker at the top, but whatever. It's still nice if there's any kind of a lighting effect. But you have the lamp casting a little light. You have the tree here coming down, which is just lovely, really nicely done. You have a little bit more of a bush here at the bottom. The beauty is laying here. She's kind of looking off this way. And then here, in the edge of this, we see a male, a samurai or a warrior. You can tell he has some sort of a sword. So there's a sword comes through here. He's standing here kind of off in the background. She's laying here looking kind of coy and smiley. The kimono is really nice. The obi is nice. So I'm trying to see if there's any details that I can highlight here. The one thing I think is interesting is I'm not really sure what these are. I think they're just affectations. I thought maybe, no, I don't know. I'm not sure what these are. It highlights the legs, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they mean, these little orange things here. I don't think they're, no, they're definitely part of the design. I don't know. I don't know. I think it just shows that the material is very thin, so you can kind of see the leg through. Because you can't see the feet anywhere. So maybe it's just oh, this is a single leg. I see, this is a single leg. I'm not really sure though. So, but you have the inner kimono here. The wood planks are here, very nicely done. We have a signature here at the bottom. Anyone who can help me with this? I would love to know who this is. I can't read it. I thought maybe it was Shu, because it looks a little bit like one of the signatures of Takeuchi Keishu. So I thought maybe Keishu, but I don't know. I just can't read it. It's got a little bit here too. And then it has a seal, which again, I can't read. So I don't know. This is one that stumped me. I've looked long and hard and I couldn't figure it out. But ultimately, excuse me, cat hairs everywhere in my house because I have a couple cats and I just can't seem to get their hair under control sometimes. So, but it's just so lovely. Let's take a look at the back. Yeah, bleed through all the way across. So we have bleed through from the top all the way to the bottom. Everything is beautiful. There's 0 lines. So this print was never folded. So this never was in a book, although it certainly is a Kuchi-e. I don't have 0 doubts about that. The design reads Kuchi-e. A lot of Kuchi-e from this period had this thing right here. It almost looks like Hakuhan, but I don't think it is. I'm not sure who this is, but it's just so nice. Again, we have the same hair comb and the the other hair piece here. So you have the hair comb and the hair pin here. But I think the like one of the best parts is definitely this part here. This Uchiwa fan is just so lovely, having the design of the Tokaido Road or whatever it is on there. It's just about as good as it gets. This is about as good as these designs can get as far as quality, as far as what's featured in the print. You have a beauty, you have a guy kind of in the shadows in the background. They just spared no expense and they spared no technique on this. It would have been nice if there was a little bit more bokashi, but it's like they did as good as they could. It's just really a lovely design. Never seen it before. And I'm wondering, will I ever see it again? Is this like a one design? That's the thing about these enigmatic, unknown artists that I really love, is that I might never see another copy of this print, So later on, when I open a gallery, like, how do you price something like this if there's only one? Only one known. I mean, this artist isn't even known to me, so I don't even know who the artist is. But like, what if this is the only one of this design? It makes it incredibly rare, right? And it's beautiful and well made, so it's doubly desirable. Anyway, I think it's lovely. Let me know your thoughts. I'm interested if anyone knows who this is. Some of my followers and some of my subscribers, which I'm up to 60 subscribers, by the way. Anybody who's interested in following me, please like and subscribe. But yeah, anyone who can figure out what this is, I would be really obliged. I have no clue who that is. I'm not sure. Can you guys see that? Well, about as clean as I can get it, probably. But yeah, no idea. Anyone who wants a better image, let me know. Anyway, yeah, so just a lovely, lovely print. I'm not sure it's going to fit in this book, actually. let me put this away. I don't know if it'll fit in here. Yeah, it looks like it might. It's It's very, very, oh, I don't know if it will actually. This is definitely larger than I was thinking. Well, let's give it a shot. So for this last print I'm going to open, this is the really special item of this opening. This is a really cool, really cool print. You guys are going to be shocked. The story is so shocking that I can't even believe it myself. So, and this is one of those rare things that just happens so infrequently in collecting that I just had to make a special video. This video is about this. Let's see, is this, yeah, it fits. Boy, it barely fits in here. I don't know if it's even going to fit for height. Let's see. But this next print is so incredibly unbelievable, the story about it, that you guys are going to be amazed. So stick with me, because this is going to be a very interesting story in a second. Okay, let's move on to the final package for this particular opening. So again, this was purchased on eBay. Okay. So this is just the most interesting story. So this package was purchased on eBay, and I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, I got to buy that. Again, really interesting. Sometimes this seller, for whatever reason, just has he just has prints that are priced to buy it now for very cheap prices. I don't really understand why. Some things he has are ridiculously overpriced, and for some reason, every once in a while, he just has really cool Kuchi-e, and they're priced fairly reasonably. He doesn't necessarily call them Kuchi-e. I don't know what terms he uses. I think he just calls them woodblocks or whatever, because I don't know if he just doesn't know what they are, or I'm not sure what the situation is. But this is such an interesting story. So I purchased this piece about, well, from now, it's been like 2.5 months or something. But from the time of purchasing, let's say it was 8 weeks ago. So I purchased this about 8 weeks ago. And when I show you this, you're going to be so amazed. So this is the print that I bought. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's the missing print from the book. So amazingly, I somehow was able to find this print that's missing from this book. I found this before I found the books. This is the stuff that just boggles my mind about collecting. Any collector knows that to find this independently of these 3 books. Now, this is the missing print from this 4-book series. I found this before I found the books. So I found this print, let's say 8 weeks ago, and then 6 weeks ago, I saw a listing for the 3 books. At that time, I actually wasn't sure if they were connected or not, but I thought, well, they must be. And then I was able to look in the book, and the book shows the 4 prints, and I was just like so amazed. So I ended up paying a little bit more than I would have liked to have paid for the other prints. Oh, this one is mounted or something. Oh, let me just pull that off there. But is it not shocking to find this design? It blows my mind. Yeah, so this one I found on eBay. Totally different seller. They're not named the same. I could not find any connection to them. And why would one seller have taken them out of the book just to sell it on eBay for a price when they got better prices by selling the other ones in Japan through their store? It just made 0 sense to me. So I'm just shocked by this. This happens every once in a great while, and it's not a common occurrence. So what I wanted to show you on the back here, again, this is a print by Yawata Hakuhan, and it is the missing print from this Emmy, I can't pronounce her name, Emmy writer series. And interestingly, though, you see this print is folded into 4s. So in order to fit it into this small book, it had to come folded. I kind of don't want to mess with it too much, but it had to be folded in some strange way that I don't, oh, there it is. So it folded like this, and like, I don't even know. I can't tell how it folded, but you can see it had to fold into like a smaller. Well, you know, maybe this one didn't come from the book. Maybe it was one of the leftover stock, because it's actually quite larger than the book. But it does seem to have fold lines here, so I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. But you can see that it's definitely the print from the book. So it would have come in the book, and it would have been right here where this thing is missing, like so. How they folded it in here, I'm not sure. It is a full-size print, though, similar to the other one that we saw. But I just think it's so lovely. I can't even believe that I was able to complete the set. It just, I can't explain how little this happens in life. Like, it does happen occasionally, but very rarely. This print is practically in perfect condition. There's a little tiny bit of like, paint that kind of got smeared a little tiny bit right here. But otherwise, this print is just phenomenal. It's just in perfect condition. And again, like I said, the guy had a buy it now price that was super reasonable. So I don't know. But again, I've never seen this print for sale before. I'm sure it has been for sale at some point in the past, but I didn't see it. Again, Yawada Hakuhan is the artist. You have some flowers here, some poppies in the background. There's two beauties sort of talking to each other. One of them is holding a flower to her face, or she's smelling a flower, something. Again, we have the affectation of the ring here, which is very common during this period. The hair pieces was another very common item of fashion during this period. So we have one that's like a silver circular with this kind of hair clip here. And then this one over here has the traditional hair comb. And then she has a little flower pin, or probably a pin. Yeah. So here we have two kimonos, again, both lovely. So the obi in this one has this kind of swirling pattern. We can see a little bit of the inner obi here. And then you have a kimono, which is brown with blue splotches and some like lines. You can see a little bit of the inner kimono right here. I do think it was a little bit of a mistake to make this inner kimono the same color as her outer kimono, because it has like a weird run-on effect here. So it would have been better in a way if they'd changed that to even red or any other color. It would have been better, but it's not terrible. Just pointing out that as a design effect, it would have been nicer to have this be a different color. But anyway, the other beauty here has the same sort of color of this kind of mauve pink color for the kimono. Has a little bit of red. The obi is kind of a green with silver. So again, they spared no expense on these. You have silver here, silver here. This is exactly the kind of small, intricate, basically detailed thing, detailed addition that I would want to see for my wood blocks. I prefer to see something very small like these. Sometimes they overdo the silver and the gold and it just becomes garish. It's just like too much. And not only that, it doesn't print very clean sometimes. Sometimes the silver will kind of outrun the edges. You can even see that it's done it a tiny bit here. Thankfully, it's very small amount, but sometimes it overruns the edges. I don't know if it's more liquidy. I don't know what it is about the silver specifically, but I've seen some instances where it just kind of spews out from the edges and it makes the whole thing look blurry. So I prefer they just use it in very small quantities. So again, we have the obi with the green and the silver. The green and silver is an interesting color. Lime green, not a very popular or common, I would say, not a very common choice of clothing, green and silver. Again, we have the eyes and the eyebrows. So the eyebrows are very nicely done, very realistic compared to others. And the eyes are nice and soft. So this artist just did some really lovely soft eyes. Just a fantastic print. This print is about as big as they come. So this one is not going to fit in the book, I don't think. Definitely is not going to fit in the book. You can see the book is smaller than the print. So yeah, so fantastic, really lovely. I'm so shocked I was able to get the set. Sorry, I'm going to show you in the book again so you see that I'm on the right path here. I know most people probably weren't looking at that print since we didn't have it, but here is the picture showing that the print is here and the print is here. So you can see that it's the same design right here. So yeah, isn't that amazing? And again, this design here is heavily trimmed. It's trimmed to here. So the one that we're seeing is trimmed all the way to here, like that. So that much is trimmed off on this side. And the other side seems pretty full. So the other side here seems pretty full, but it's trimmed here on this side. So yeah, so this is like a full print with all the, the borders as big as I'm probably ever going to see. So just lovely. We did take a look at the back already, so I won't redo that. Anyway, this is all I have for today. Thanks again for coming by my channel, checking out my video. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I really love this. I will put the detailed information about all the prints that I have, if I can find them, kind of on the sides over here when I'm done with the editing. And I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me. I'm sorry my videos are coming slow. I'm going to try and pick it up. I was doing a lot of ordering and I've been applying to find a new job, which I did actually find. I'm just not sure if I'm going to be working for them or not. They made me an offer, but I'm not sure if I'm going to accept it. So anyway, so that's it for this week. I, again, thank you for coming by. Everybody, I hope you have a nice summer. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.